My dear student, welcome to Home Aid Training Center. We are based in Federal Way, Washington, United States of America, in a city called Federal Way. And my name's Dr. Stephen Jenga, and I am your instructor today. And today we are going to learn CPR, AED, and first aid. These things you need to know them so that you can be able to know how you can respond to emergencies. And therefore, I'm going to start with several divinations. And with me here, I have got the workbook. And this workbook here, there are several words that I'm going to make some definitions. And I'm going to start with the CPR. CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Every time you hear the word cardio, you are talking about the heart. And the heart has got two problems. One of them is heart attack. And heart attack happens when the largest vein in the heart, called aorta, fails to pump the blood into the heart. That's where the problem begins. And one sign of a heart attack is you feel like an elephant is sitting on your chest. So that is one problem that is related to the heart attack. So if you're taking care of a client or you have a family member, a child or an adult, and you see him or her holding here with very heavy pain, you should be able to know that that is heart attack, and that time you're supposed to start CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, immediately. So CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. The second problem of the heart is cardiac arrest, and cardiac arrest happens when one vein fails to transport oxygenated blood into the brain. So when one cell of the brain fails to receive oxygenated blood, that time somebody may faint, may have what we call a stroke. And then we have the word number 2 is AED. AED stands for automated external defibrillator. Automated external defibrillator. This is the AED. Automated external defibrillator. Automated external defibrillator is like the battery of a car. Its work is to jumpstart a freezing heart. So, if you walk into a room and you find that a client has fallen, before you approach the client, number one, you are supposed to call 911. So, if you are alone, you're supposed to call 911, put your phone on speaker, listen to the instructions that you are going to be given. And the reason why you are calling 911 is because by doing so, you are activating emergency responder system so that they can come and help this person. So number one, you call 911. So if you are with other people, you will tell them, go call 911 and bring the AED, this AED, because it will jumpstart when the heart is frozen and it is not pumping the blood. So, automated external defibrillator, I've told you about it, and I've told you its work. Then the third word that I'm gonna talk about is first aid. First aid is first initial help given to someone who suddenly becomes ill or has an accident or have had a fall. So before that person arrives to the hospital, you are supposed to start. You're supposed to start what we call CPR, or to give that person first aid, so that you can rush that somebody to the hospital where there are a team of medical professionals who gonna take care of him. So after defining these words, I would now like us now to go to start with the CPR. And I repeat once again, if you walk into a room and you find the client has fallen, you're supposed to go to call 911, put your phone on speaker, listen to the instruction, and then you begin CPR immediately. The reason why you are beginning CPR immediately, it's because it only takes 7 to 10 minutes for the brain of a person to die. So you have to begin immediately. So then the second step after calling 911, you are supposed to survey the scene or check the scene. Is it safe for you to approach the client or to approach the victim? Why? It is because you don't want to get into danger yourself. So what you're supposed to do is to check one corner of the house, check the other side of the house, check the other side of the house, check behind the other side of the house, check up, so that probably the client might have been hit by an object, and you do not want to be hit with the object. So after doing that, if it is not safe, don't leave the client but call 911. Don't leave the client but call 911. Now, if it is safe for you to approach the client, then you can approach the client and you tap the shoulder. Hey, my name is Dr. Steve. I'm CPR certified. Can I help you? You are asking for consent. And once you do that, after checking, if the person is not responding, you assume that person has given you permission to help that person. You must be able to differentiate between gasping and breathing. So if somebody is doing that is not breathing. So the next step you're gonna use 2 to 3 seconds to check whether that person is breathing. Use your 2 fingers, feel the pulse to check whether the person, you can feel the pulse. If you cannot feel the pulse, what you're supposed to do is to put on your gloves, and then between the 2 nipples on the breastbone, you are supposed to do between 100 to 120 compressions within 1 minute. Remember, I said it only takes 7 to 10 minutes for the brain of a person to die. This is the very important part of saving someone's life. Again, you're also supposed to check whether he could be having a label written DNR. DNR stands for do not resuscitate. So between the 2 nipples on the breastbone, you are supposed to do what we call 30 compressions and 2 rescue breaths. And I want you to look here very clearly. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And then you're supposed to take the CPR barrier and then you press it on the mouth, and you're supposed to give 2 rescue breaths. So put your finger on the nose and then you lift the chin, because when somebody has fainted, the tongue blocks the airway. So you want to make sure that you're giving proper 2 quick rescue breaths. So hold there, put the barrier. The barrier is to prevent your direct contact between you and the client. And then you give 2 rescue breaths. You want to avoid distraction. And then from there, you're supposed to continue. They say you do CPR until you're exhausted. And if you are two people, you can exchange. There's what we call 5 chain. There's what we call 5 chain of survival. Number 1, I said call 911. Number 2, begin CPR. Number 3, use AED. Number 4, emergency responders team, they arrive and they take over from you. And number 5, the person ends up in the hospital. The person ends up in the hospital where there is a team of medical professionals who will take care or check what the problem with the patient is. So 5 chain of survival, don't forget. Number 1, I've said call 911. Number 2, begin CPR. Number 3, I've said use the AED. Number 4, I've said emergency responders team, they arrive, they take over from you, and then they take the person to the hospital. So those are the 5 chains of survival. So in that scenario now, let's assume that the person you sent to go to bring the AED, the person you sent to go and bring the AED machine has gone and brought the AED. So this is the AED. You place it near to the head, and then you get the pads, and then you put them close to the head, and then these pads, they've already been indicated where you're supposed to place each one of them. So if you look at this one, you look at this one here, it's indicated where. If you look closely, you'll see it is showing where you're supposed to place the pad. So I'm gonna place this one. This one comes here. So this one here, this one comes here, and don't place this one on top of implanted device. So you place it, the other one you place it there by the sides there, and then the next step after pressing, making sure that you have placed your pads in the right way, you are supposed to press the green button for AED and listen to the instruction. Okay, here we go.
Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient. Shock advised. Charging. Stay clear of patient. Deliver shock now. Press the orange button now. Shock delivered. Begin CPR.
So those are counts for CPR, how the rhythm of how you're supposed to use to do CPR. So after doing that, what you're supposed to do now from there, you are supposed to continue doing CPR. They say you do until you're exhausted. And if you are 2, you're supposed to exchange with each other. And when the the paramedics or the emergency responders team, they arrive, they take over from you, and then they will take over from you, and they'll be able to, the person will end up in the hospital. So in basic words, that is what we call CPR, and I believe that we'll continue to the next part of first aid in the next lesson. Thank you. We continue, or we meet in the next digital classroom. Thank you very much.